Here's the 2-2 pitch. There's a long drive to left field, and forget about this one. Hello, Berkeley. A spectacular home run. 2/3 of the way up into the left field bleachers. It passed the wall to the left of the 354 marker. What a shot by Casey Schmitt. 2-0 Giants. First home run in a while for Schmitt. He had a couple early on when he first got up, and man, was that one just rocketed.
This is the Giants Hot Stove League show on the proud home of orange and black baseball. KNBR 680, the sports leader.
All right, we are back. Giants Hot Stove Show. Want to thank Giants reliever Ryan Walker for joining us. Kerry Crowley hanging with you until 8 o'clock. We've got another guest coming off of his rookie season, Casey Schmitt, kind enough to join us this evening. Casey, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well. I just asked Ryan Walker all about, getting the call to the big leagues, what it was like. You obviously went through all of those same experiences during 2023. What's it like for you to listen to a home run call like that, like we just played from John Miller, a Hall of Famer, knowing that you're the guy who had success in that moment at the major league level?
Yeah, I mean, it's very special. I think when I first met him, it was funny. So I used to play, I think it was like MVP baseball 2003 or 4, maybe 5, and I remember he was like the voice of the game. And I like brought that up to him. We had a funny laugh when I first met him.
That's great. Yeah, I think it was 2005, the all-time best baseball video game for my money. So, Casey, obviously such an interesting season that you had. And let's start at the very beginning. The day that you get the call to the big leagues, how did you find out? What were the emotions of it? And who were your first calls after that?
Yeah, that day was it was the night before the game. It was very hectic. Everyone knows I was in a movie theater. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and I got the call at the end of the movie. I mean, it was crazy. It all happened so fast, and then I made sure that I guess my parents weren't even the first one to find out. Now that I think about it, it was my buddies that I was with at the movies. But I made sure I called my parents once I got back home, make sure I texted them to make sure that they're home.
And I mean, May 9th, Oracle Park, you make your major league debut. It's a Giants team that at the time was really looking for an infusion from the farm system. And you come up, and there's obviously a lot of pressure in that moment, but you have success right away. You hit your first major league home run in your first game. What was the feeling going around the bases in that moment and, looking up around the stands, seeing that third deck for the first time? How do you put that into perspective now that it happened, 8 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, it was a special moment for me and my family and friends. It was so crazy, and I remember hitting it, and I was just hoping I was like, oh, just drop, just be a hit. Let me get it over with. And then it ended up carrying. It got out, and then I just ran in the bases. I was just in awe. And I remember looking into the dugout, and everyone's cheering. Yeah, it was a crazy moment for sure.
Yeah, you bookend the season as well. Final day of the regular season, you hit 2 against the Dodgers. Obviously, you want to go into the next season feeling good about yourself, and there was some struggles along the way, and we'll talk about how you process those. But as far as final games of the regular season go, that give you a little bit of momentum heading into 2024, a little bit of extra motivation?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was for me, that was a big way for me to end the season, just, like you said, because of the struggles that I had. It just felt like, a lot of times that things were just not going my way, and I was struggling to kind of just find some kind of success. It felt very unlucky. I was striking out too much, I was hitting balls at people. I mean, it was definitely tough for sure. And, but then ending the season on that note, just to take in with me to the off season was I think was a really good thing for me.
Casey Schmitt, kind enough to join us here on the Giants Hot Stove Show. And Casey, you talked a little bit about the struggles, and we saw them on the field. We saw how hard you were working through them. What to you may have been a turning point and a feeling that, hey, maybe I'm back to feeling like myself at the plate? And was there a coaching point that you received, a tip from a veteran teammate? Like, what to you was a low point and a high point during that process?
Low point would probably that what was it, May, June, probably around like June, July, where it kind of just started to really struggle, and I didn't really know what was going on, and I'd hit in the cage after the games. I mean, I was doing everything that I could, hitting early, trying to make adjustments, doing a little too. I think it was just for me. It might have been a little too much, and I just kind of put a lot of pressure on myself. But everyone was so they were all good with me, even though when I was struggling. Hanny was always talking to Hanny about hitting and getting out of funks, and then Logan, Craw, the whole team and the coaching staff were all really behind me, and just trying to get me through it and trying to get me back rolling again.
Yeah, and obviously a huge opportunity for you in 2024. The Giants really looking forward to having a bunch of players who debuted alongside you this year make an impact next year. What has been your main objective this offseason? What have you been working on, and how are you training to get ahead for next season?
Yeah, so I came to Arizona early just so I could get some hitting with our coaches done. Just finding my swing again. I felt like I found it towards the end. Probably maybe Chicago series. I think it was starting to feel better. But yeah, just getting back in the cage and just hitting and just trying to do my thing and just trying to find myself at the plate. And right now, it's going real good. Everything's feeling really good, and I'm really happy that I'm really happy in the spot that I'm in right now.
It sounds like you guys have a pretty big contingent down there in Arizona right now. Talking to Ryan Walker, I know that he's training in Scottsdale. I think last week we had a few guys on the show who were down in Scottsdale. So what is it like, with this culture that you guys are trying to build down there?
Yeah, it's good. Everyone's pulling from the same side of the rope. Everyone wants to win. That's all that matters at the end of the day is winning games, and everyone's doing their thing to be able to help, and it's really awesome just the team chemistry that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to ask you kind of a few broader questions and quicker ones about your first year in the big leagues. Maybe a favorite defensive play you made. I know you had a ton with the glove, but any stick out to you?
Well, the one that I have two that really stick out. And probably the first ground ball that I ever got. I was so nervous, and then I think we turned a double play. I remember there was one where I think it hit the mound or something. I was playing second, and I dove and threw it off my back to Craw, and then we turned a double play. Mm-hmm. But I think my favorite one of the year would probably be at Chicago. Dansby Swanson hit a ball down the third base line, and I backhanded and threw it off bounds to JD over at first.
Yeah, I remember a couple of those plays, and I also remember you registering big-time numbers on the radar gun and, people talking about the velocity coming over from third base specifically. Was that on your mind at all, the fact that you're throwing the ball 94 miles an hour across the diamond and seeing the StatCast stuff get posted on social media after the game? Were you cognizant of the records you were setting?
I wasn't. In the moment, no.
Yeah.
I had no idea, but then, after some of them, some of the stuff that came out, I saw, I was like, oh, really? That's cool. But I wasn't trying to do any of that.
Yeah, of course. You obviously pitched in college at San Diego State, two-way player for the Aztecs. What is your thought on what Shohei Otani has done at the big league level, knowing that, the Giants had thought for a moment about developing you as a two-way player before making you exclusively an infielder, and knowing that you've been a guy who's pitched and hit in the same game before?
Yeah, it's definitely special. I did it in college, so it's not even close to like the same thing that he's doing it right now in the big leagues and putting up the numbers that he is. But yeah, it's special. It's a crazy thing, and he's so good at both of them, which makes it even crazier.
Yeah. I know you never really want to be in a position where position players pitch, and unfortunately you saw it a few times this year. Brandon Crawford memorably got to pitch in his first game this season for the Giants. If you took the mound as a major leaguer, in one of those games, are you trying to throw 92, 94, or are you sitting back and lobbing it in there like a true position player?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, I don't want to mess up my chances of getting in just in case.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go. I'll go all out. See what I got in the tank. I mean, I'm going.
Yeah, there we go. Giants need a seventh inning arm one day where Bob Melvin's short on guys and Casey Schmitt all of a sudden finds himself in a 5-run ball game. We'll see that at some point during your Giants career. Casey, I do want to ask you, obviously a transition in coaches, new manager coming to San Francisco. What's your communication been like with Bob Melvin and the new staff that he's brought in? I know it's relatively recent and they're still reaching out to players, but what are your first impressions?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be really, really great for the team. I think Bob Melvin's awesome, and I've heard nothing but great things about him and as well as the staff that he's brought in. So I mean, for me, I feel like I speak for a lot of the guys. I feel like we're excited to gonna go and to get going again.
Yeah. A couple more for you before we let you go here. Giants Hot Stove Show, Casey Schmitt joining us. Favorite city or ballpark that you visited this year? Because I know that rookies get a taste of the road, and it's very different than the minor league travel. What was a favorite road trip for you?
Oh, man, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick one just because, growing up, I'm watching, those games on TV, so every stadium I go to, I'm just, like, in awe. Yeah. But the special one for me was definitely Petco, just because I'm from there. Like I went to some Padre games growing up, and then I got to have a lot of my family and friends be at the game, and that was a really, really cool moment that I've dreamed about since I was younger. And then I really like Chicago. Chicago was a cool one for me. I think there's a lot of great history there, and I really love the stadium.
Two of my favorites. Can't argue. I was a beat writer for 5 seasons before coming off after the 107-win season. And San Diego was always great because you're right there in the Gaslamp District. Great food, great Mexican food, burritos. I love that. And then Chicago, you can't beat the history of Wrigley Field. So great choices on my end. And then impressions of Oracle Park. It's often been called a pitcher's paradise, but it's changed a little bit over the past few seasons. I'd love to hear from a guy who made his major league debut what you thought of playing in San Francisco and what these fans was like.
Oh my God, I absolutely loved it. I mean, the fan base is just amazing, very welcoming, and they love the Giants, and I mean they're amazing. I love the ballpark. I love the history. I mean, I love it all. I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about Oracle or San Francisco. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. And the last one for you before we let you go, because this is the Hot Stove Show, talk all things transactions and what's going on in baseball right now. I love to ask guys, are you one of the people that has MLB Network on daily and you're checking to see who's changing teams, or are you like Ryan Walker, who apparently doesn't even watch baseball when he's playing it? So,
no, yeah, I definitely have it on. I'm kind of a baseball nerd. I love baseball, and I'm always watching that. And I mean, yeah, I love watching baseball. It's who I've been, since I was younger, and I mean, there's just nothing better.
There we go. Both ends of the spectrum tonight. Ryan Walker didn't know that Luis Arias was hitting 400 against him. Casey Schmitt, locked in on all offseason transactions. Great stuff. Really appreciate you and all the guys who've joined the show so far this offseason. Have a good one, Casey.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
All right. He is Casey Schmitt. Fun conversation with him.